Hi, this is Linda Tilson with Coaching Hub, and today I'm excited to have Christopher D. Connors, our leadership coach for high-performing individuals, with us today. And I want to jump in right away by asking you this question. And what is your favorite coaching tip that you would like to pass on to all of your future clients?
One thing I like to tell people is don't beat yourself up too much, because the world will do enough of that for you. I think oftentimes, we are our own worst enemy. And what I mean by that is, we are too self-critical. A lot of very, high performing, high achieving individuals are very, very tough on themselves. And unfortunately, that can often be a double-edged sword. It can be an impediment to progress. And so I think that the more you just kind of let yourself be who you really are, with clarity, confidence, and conviction and focus, the bigger and better results that you really get to see. So it's trying to get people away from the things that can hold them back and more to the things that are going to help them move forward.
I really like that you talk about not beating yourself up, because it's so easy as someone that's a high performer to get in there and be self-critical, and really the focus needs to be on what they're doing well and doing more of it. So now that you've told me that, I want to know a little bit more about why it is you became a coach. And I want to know if it's about who you are, or if it's a certain experience that you went through that led you to the coaching.
God, the answer no one ever likes, right? Both. I think to answer your question, it really is both things. I think for me, what I go back to is I had started to see a pattern in my life of just, wanting to serve and help other people. And really, I think in short, to answer your question, the short answer is it was really a lot, an accumulation of experiences that I had had, both professionally in the workforce. The majority of my career was spent working for top management consulting firms like Booz Allen Hamilton, working as a program and project manager in different industries. And taking a liking and mentoring and helping other people. And very often I was interfacing with executives and just feeling very comfortable, working with people in that capacity, helping them to see things more clearly and kind of reach and attain their biggest goals. But, I've also coached basketball at the high school level, and really a lot of the different things that I've done led me to when I wrote my book, The Value of You. Really leading up to writing that book, I had defined what my mission was, how I really defined success. And what that came back to was wanting to help and serve other people to reach their biggest and boldest goals. And so it's something that I've done in my own life, but I wanted to be able to do for other people. So I really think, it was based on my own experience, but it was also based on my, personal desire of really a lot of people telling me like, hey, you're really good at this. Why don't you spend more time on it? And so I think that's a lot of what led me to wanting to coach.
I really like that you are taking what people have told you and working in an area where you can give back to other people, because that's why I'm a coach. Number one, to help other people to learn and to grow. And honestly, I think the best coaches are the ones that have that life experience. They may not have experienced the particular thing they're coaching on, but they have enough under their belt, they're able to be relational. And so I appreciate that. And so, Christopher, I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what type of coaching you provide, and what is your high-level view of the process that you use?
Sure. So really at this point, what I end up saying to people is I help executives and high achievers make successful career transitions. And so really where I come from in that regard is because, in a lot of ways, that's kind of how I see myself. I went from somebody that had been in, most of his career, as I talked about, in the management consulting industry. I have a background in certification in project management, and having kind of done that functional work in a variety of different roles, I ended up really transitioning from that into being, a leadership coach and doing a lot of leadership consulting, both in schools and in private industry. And so the part about transitions is because I experienced that, but I also know, that one of the statistics we hear a lot about these days, Linda, is that people aren't just going to change jobs a couple times throughout their life. People are literally going to change careers multiple times on average, throughout the course of all of their professional working time. So, I think it's something where it resonates with me as somebody that, wasn't that person right out of college that knew what he wanted to do. And I think a lot of other people are realizing how, much different potential they have. We hear the term a lot now, multi-potentialite, people that have a lot of different skills and a lot of different passions, and they don't just want to do one thing their whole career. So it's helping people to make successful career transitions, doing that seamlessly, using their transferable skills. Big part of what I'm about is I use just kind of my own methodology. I call it game plan. And it's really about, discovering your values. I'm a big believer in that, having written a book on it. But discovering your purpose, your mission, defining goals with clarity, all of those things leading toward results. Something that's near and dear to my heart, really from a leadership standpoint, is a heavy focus on emotional intelligence. I've written an article. It's actually one of the top search items on all of Google for emotional intelligence. It's called The 10 Qualities of an Emotionally Intelligent Person. And so emotional intelligence is just something that has always come very naturally to me, and I like being able to share and help others to bring it into their lives for the better.
Okay. So I really like that you have a game plan and that you're having people define their values, purpose, and mission, and that you also bring the emotional intelligent piece into it. So when you're working with your client, the process that you were describing, how do you know that they've reached their destination or endpoint, that they really got there and they didn't just get there on the surface? How do you know?
I think for me, what it is that coaching is a partnership. It's not me telling you that this is how things are going to go. I make it very clear to any client that I'm working with in the very beginning, you define success. You are the one that defines success for our working relationship together. And you try to make it something that's tangible and achievable, something that is really going to be within their control. And so an example of that would, I guess, be that, you're not choosing something that, I'm going to become the CEO of Microsoft. Well, that's not something that's really in your control. First of all, it's probably nearly impossible in that analogy, but you know what I'm saying? It's something that, if you say you're going to hit a certain revenue goal, or you're going to try to do a certain number of things in a given amount of time, if you really game plan and you set goals toward that, and that is something that's within your control, that's more of what, I think it's all about results. It's all about what are the exact results that individual wants, and how are they defining success on exactly how to achieve it. Now, I'm going to help partner with you to help you get clarity around what that definition could be, but ultimately you own that. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you get to that point. So I think it's really about, that person should have a pretty good idea going in. And if not, we're going to help you get there pretty quickly to, this is exactly how you're defining this. And then again, I'm backing that up with a lot of the parts of coaching that I feel like are really my forte, which is things related to the emotional intelligence side of leadership, focus, clarity, developing your confidence, getting you in the right mindset, which any of us know that have ever worked with a coach before. We know how important that mindset part is to really believing that you can achieve something.
And so as you're working with these different individuals, you're talking a lot about how they need to be in control. They need to know where they're going. And if they don't, you're going to help them get there. So when you're working with an individual, what qualities would you say need to be present for you in an ideal match of someone that you enjoy working with?
Sure. So I talked about, how really I'm working high achievers, executives, people that, I think just to quickly get into the answer, it's someone that is very ambitious. And I think you could actually make the argument in some instances that someone that's seeking coaching that's a big first step when you really think about that. I think there, in that is a sense of vulnerability of being able and willing to share your story with other people and saying, look, I need help. I can't get there on my own. All of us know, as coaches, we all know we all need help to get there, but not everybody is prepared to come into that. So it's, but someone that's, vulnerable and open to sharing themselves, but someone that's very ambitious, someone that's very driven. I have most enjoyed, Linda, working with clients that they come into it already with a certain level of focus and clarity. And so what I like to say is, you probably have a pretty good idea of what you want. You just don't know exactly how to get there. And that's, to me, what makes a great coach. That's where I come in, and that's where we partner together. But I think what we also discovered during the process is that, there's so many other things that we learn and discover as we keep digging and peeling back that onion, that there's often more than meets the eye of what the individual thinks going in. But it's still, I think, somebody that, they may have a pretty darn good idea of exactly where they want to get to. And then I partner with them to help them get there.
Okay. I agree with you when you said that you're peeling back the onion and that you're finding these things out, or that person's finding these things out, because I think, like you said, everybody wants to go into coaching because they want to get some help. But what they realize during the process, there are some underlying things that they may or may not have gotten to if they were to go it by themselves. But with the coach, it can happen. And so
Absolutely.
I've seen it happen several times. It's actually happened when I've received coaching. So I'm a testament to that. And before we finish today's interview, I do want to ask you one last final question. So if somebody is a high performer and they want to receive some coaching from you, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Sure. I think the best way to reach out to me, Linda, is to just go to my website. It's just chrisdconnors.com. And just doing a search for me, Christopher D. Connors, on Google, it should pop up right away, and you'll probably see different articles of mine that I've had. So chrisdconnors.com, Connors with an O at the end, just for some folks who may use the E spelling, but it's with an O at the end. So that's really the best way to reach out to me. And it'll take you to my website. You go to the coaching section, and I offer anybody that's looking to reach out to me for the very first time, I offer anybody a free 30-minute coaching call where, I'm not going to tell you what coaching is. We're going to experience what coaching is, and we're going to learn all about you, what your story is, why that matters, what you're looking for, and how we can, help you get to where you want to be.
All right. Well, I very much appreciate you meeting with me today. And like you have all heard, that if you want to work with Christopher, go ahead and go to his webpage. You can set up a consultation, free 30 minutes, and he will have you experience coaching to see what that could be like. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.